Good afternoon, this is the Countercurrent show. And today we will be discussing the Nanaimo by-election in BC. In Nanaimo, it is a tight race between Sheila Malcolmson of the BC NDP and Tony Harris of the BC Liberals. Traditionally, Nanaimo has been a leftist riding, with Leonard Krog being the incumbent BC NDP MLA in the region since 2005 until his decision to run for Nanaimo mayor in 2018. So let's look into the backgrounds of the running candidates, shall we? Sheila Malcolmson for the BC NDP and Tony Harris for the BC Liberals. So let's start with Sheila Malcolmson. She is a current sitting member of the House of Commons, so she's in federal politics right now, but she announced that she would give up her Member of Parliament seat in the House of Commons in order to become an MLA in the BC legislature. She's running as an environmentalist. She's picking up the old NDP tradition of blocking pipelines, and done under the premise of preventing oil spills. One remarkable thing of note is that Sheila Malcolmson was introduced by BC NDP leader John Horgan as someone who will take up Leonard Krog's cause of public health care, public education, and affordable housing. She claims that she is not abandoning the federal NDP ship because of the National Party's electoral weakness in the polls, leading up to the federal 2019 election. On her biography on her website, it says, starting in 2002, Sheila was elected to the Islands Trust for 4 consecutive terms. In 2008, she was elected chair of the Islands Trust Council. In 2015, she was elected as federal MP for Nanaimo and Ladysmith. You can find this information on her website, sheilamalcolmson.bcndp.ca. So she is portraying herself as a very inclusive candidate. She knows how to bring people together. Prior to that, she was an energy policy analyst for NGOs, and she's worked in small business and tourism, according to her website. For the sake of simplifying things, she can be best described as, for the most part, career politician, but someone who has a lot of passion for the environment. Tony Harris, on the other hand, is an entrepreneur. He was born in Nanaimo. His father owned a car dealership, so he learned how to run a business growing up. He grew up in that climate. From his website, it says, Tony is a managing partner of a local award-winning auto dealership on the board of directors for the Nanaimo District Hospital Foundation, member of the Mid-Island Business Initiative, and the founder and honorary chairman of the Tom Harris Charity Classic in honor of his late father, Tom Harris. In 2018, Tony was recognized with the Vancouver Island Top 20 Under 40 Business and Community Achievement Award. In a nutshell, he can be described as an entrepreneur and a business owner. One interesting thing to make note of is that Global News presented Sheila Malcolmson as a star candidate of the BC NDP, although judging by her biography, it's unclear as to why Global News is reporting her as a star candidate. Has she made any outstanding achievements in her life? Is she a very well-liked candidate? If she is a very well-liked candidate, what makes her a star candidate? What makes her a cut above the rest? Because being liked in your community as an MLA is a prerequisite to electoral success. You know, not in all cases, but in some cases this is true. And in a race as tight as this one, why would they call her a star candidate unless she is miles ahead in the polls? She's not miles ahead in the polls. According to Global News, Sheila Malcolmson is getting 39.8% of the vote, while BC Liberal candidate Tony Harris would get 38.2% of the vote. It is not a big gap. So to call her a star candidate is a little bit superfluous at this point, since the results are not going to come in until January 30th. At the time of recording, it's currently January the 8th. Okay, so approximately 22 days. It will take 22 days until the results are coming in, and Global News is just jumping the gun. It's as though Global News is no longer trying to hide their blatant partisanship in provincial politics. If the BC Liberals managed to win this by-election, it would mean that Darryl Plecas would have to break the tie. It would be very, very awkward if Darryl Plecas would serve again as a BC Liberal MLA, given how the BC Liberal Party, along with its members, currently view him as a traitor of sorts. As the clock winds down to January 30th, 2019, we can expect the media spin to increase. We can expect the anti-energy agenda of John Horgan and the BC NDP to continue against British Columbia's interests, as always. And we can also expect this to be a very tight race, because a lot of British Columbians, more than ever in fact, it is a growing sentiment, dislike our natural resource industry. In order to fight back, in order to take control again, we as British Columbians must vote BC Liberal. And we must show the BC NDP that they will fail just like they failed with the referendum.